So it is time to make the turbo manifold for this Juke. So unfortunately I wasn't able to find a collector that was big enough that actually fit the turbocharger for this, so we are going to modify this one to fit the right size piping. We are using a Subaru turbo, which means we have a Subaru turbo flange. The hole is a 2-inch diameter hole. This is a 2 1/4 pipe. So we need to go from this 2 1/2 inch diameter to this 2-inch diameter, which is going to involve quite a bit of work. We're going to cut the V-band off of this collector. We're then going to cut slits along the collector so that we can shrink it in a little bit. Now you're probably asking, why do you not just buy a smaller collector? Well, we are using a very large external wastegate. It's a 44mm external wastegate, so I need as much space on this collector as I can to put the V-band flange for that wastegate. So we need to go big. Unfortunately, big means it's also big this way, so we're going to go ahead and rectify that now. Now that we have that all modified, I'm going to take a hammer and we're going to try to bend it in. I'm not going to make you guys suffer through that. We interrupt this welding for an important delivery. This just came in. I wonder what it is. I believe these are Hoosier drag slicks. Alright, so let's take a look at our manifold design that we're going to go with. Now, on Insane Juke, I had the turbo kind of offset over to these two cylinders a little bit to make clearance for a couple of things. This one, I don't need to do that, and we'll get into that in a minute. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is, same as the Insane Juke, because it sounded awesome and the turbo spooled up fine. I'm going to do unequal length. And I'm going to have two short runners going up like this, and then I'm going to have two longer runners coming from the sides up. Now, is that as efficient as running equal length everything? No. Unfortunately, space is a huge problem, and I don't want the turbo sitting down low. And the reason I don't want the turbo sitting down low is I don't want to have to deal with heat problems near the wiring harness and hoses that are down here on the actual engine and against the firewall. So we need to set the turbo up a little higher. If I used a thinner pipe, I probably could make a very tight radius, equal length manifold. But with the amount of heat that's going to be going through this thing, I want to make it schedule 40 so I make sure it's nice and strong, it's not going to crack. So I'm going to tack weld these two runners up, and we're just going to see where the turbo sits in the engine bay and go from there. Alright, so this is approximately where the turbo is going to sit. I could sit it a little lower if I wanted to. Don't mind the engine moving around, I don't have any of the mounts in. I could have it sitting a little lower if I wanted to, I guess. The only difficulty we would run into there is, again, back here you have brake lines, you have fuel lines, you got wiring harnesses. So getting that up and out of the way, help it cool. We have the cowl that's usually here, but we cut that anyway to put these bigger turbos in no matter what. So I'm kind of liking the placement. My fear with going any lower is we're going to have very short runners, which means a lot more heat. Whereas if we run these longer runners, it kind of spreads the heat out a little bit. I'm kind of liking that. I'm digging that setup. The reason I'm not worried about the downpipe is because it's not coming out the bottom of the car. Yeah, so we're going to be welding this shut. We're running an external wastegate regardless. But I spoke to the gentleman that owns this car, and we are going to attempt to get it out the side of the car via the fender, because why not? And if for some reason we can't make that happen, then... So we'll see what goes on with that. So now I just got to play around with where I want to put the wastegate. So this is strictly for figuring this out. This is not where everything is going. So that's going there. Wastegate down here. Yeah, can make that happen. Alright, cool. So the manifold's all tacked together. I'm doing one last test fit to make sure that everything fits, and it does, with little room to spare. So I'm going to go ahead and take the manifold back out, and then I have to take all the runners off so I can weld all the runners, and then put everything back onto the flange and weld the flange. And then the manifold will be pretty much done with the exception of the wastegate, which will be the next project. Alright, so the manifold is pretty much all welded together. The last thing I gotta do is actually weld it to the flange, but unfortunately for today I am done. Gotta let this cool down anyway because I need to bolt the flange onto my other flanges so it stops the flange from warping and it prevents the amount of planing I have to do to get it flat. But all in all, I'm really happy with how it came out, and can't wait to see it running. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Make sure you go check out the new website we have up, thefastreligion.com. You can get all kinds of merch, decals, and you can also read more about the builds we're doing. Meantime, why don't you check out these other cool videos that we have going on, and make sure you hit that subscribe button.